today at the Boston Garden. There's been a lot of issues decided and another one to be decided today. Cheeks with Archibald on the end. The doctor, Dawkins, tries to save it. It'll be the Celtics basketball. You can see a little of the nervousness in the early going of this game.
Well, Darryl tried to get just a little bit too cute on that play. In a game of this importance, you better be darn sure of what you're doing with the basketball. Make sure you see a man, get it right to him. Don't try to be too fancy.
Chris Ford trying to go inside, ran into two of the Sixers, and a foul coming up against Philadelphia. It's going to be the doctor, Julius Erving. He ran into a brick wall in there.
And what you're seeing now is the referee, Earl Strom, also setting his pace for what kind of game it's going to be. You know, the referees have to have something to do with it, too. They got to make sure that it's not going to be a real rough game, that the guys don't get a chance to play. So they're setting the pace now by calling certain kind of fouls early. And that sets the tone, too. So it's not going to be a real rough game if Earl has anything to do with it.
Jones throws it away. I think in the early game, Larry Bird has set a trend. He looks like he's off to one of his big afternoons.
They made a real fine move that last time on that drive with the left-hand hook shot.
6-4. Boston with the lead. Caldwell Jones on Bird. Here's Robert Parish, a high archer of his.
Well, Parish is a real fine jump shooter from the outside. One of the few big men in the league who can hit from out there. And, of course, he got into foul trouble in the game last week, and that hurt the Celtics badly.
Came back in that second half, but as you said, he missed some valuable minutes in the first half. Lionel Holland wins the roll. 8-6. One thing about Parish, he can shoot over Dawkins with that high rainbow jumper that he has. Bird is kind of taking over right now. Dawkins with a rebound. Darryl Dawkins up to Lionel Holland, accepted by Bird. We may see a lot of turnovers in this game because of the aggressive defense. The number 1 and 2 ranked defenses in the NBA playing today. Bird with a retrieve. Dawkins with Parish trying to reach over him, and Darryl with a good position on the boards that time. Murray's Cheeks now waits for Dawkins to get back offensively, and we have a foul. Earl Strom indicating the foul.
And as Bill pointed out, they are calling it pretty close, Bill. In a lot of games, you can see people battling a lot more than they are right now to get position, and no fouls are called. But they've called 2 quick fouls early in this game. They want to keep it under control.
Dawkins is loose. That foul is on Maxwell. Earl Strom, we saw him Friday night in that Los Angeles-Seattle game, and we asked him, you know, if he was going to treat this game any differently, and he said, not at all. You officiate every game the very same.
The game decides how you officiate is what he said. You know, you don't go in with any preconceived notions or anything. You just make sure the players play by the rules, and that's all.
10-8, 2-point lead for the Celtics. Last year, the Celtics winning the Atlantic Division title by 2 games over these Sixers, and then losing 4-1 in the playoff series. Caldwell Jones and Bird got hit in the face. Bird shaking up a little bit. He's going to be all right. And Chris Ford behind him. Play by Ford. You can see Bird trying to check him to see if everything's still there. 12-10. And do they get the ball down in a hurry as Ford that time sneaking behind him.
Both of these teams would rather play hard-nosed defense, get the board, and run. But they both can also execute very well.
Bird with the steal, and he's been stealing the ball this year. Time and again as Archibald scores. Bird coming into this game is 3rd in the stealing department. And now Boston with the 4-point, 14-10 lead. Cheeks and Archibald, what a matchup that will be throughout the afternoon. This place is at bedlam ever since the opening tip-off. The noise not subsiding at all. Timeout is called now by Boston. This crowd are better than 16,000. The 27th sellout this year, 21 in a row. There's our score at 6:35. A very, very important game in the NBA. Chicago, Indiana, a battle for 2nd place. And, of course, that affects the playoff picture. And at halftime, Rick Barry, along with Bill Russell, will explain what's happened thus far, who will play what teams at this particular moment. A lot of changes, a lot to be decided. And, of course, we're right here. They have 8 seconds on the shot clock as they inbounds this ball. 5. Ray Cheeks, three-pointer. A three-pointer by Cheeks. Billy Cunningham was up. I don't think his team was aware of that at the moment, that they had such a short length of time to get that ball underway. 14-13 after that three-pointer. Philadelphia's committed 4 turnovers in the early going of this game. Boston with none. Lead changes 5. Tied 4 times. You can expect that through the afternoon. Here comes Cheeks. Broken up by Archibald. That's the 5th turnover against the Sixers. Rockets staying off of him, but Archibald can't get the ball to go for him. Lionel Hollins, that left-hander. Bird all over the place. To Archibald. Caldwell Jones is back. Beautiful chip. A basketball count, and he's been fouled.
Larry Bird doing an outstanding job. He's stealing passes, getting rebounds. Here he gets the ball out in the break, and there's the pass to Archibald. Now watch the nice move. Caldwell, I think, anticipated going to the right side. He took it across the basket to the left side to use his left hand, and Caldwell Jones was fooled, picked up the foul. Nice play by Archibald.
Jones with the foul. Bill, you've been in those situations. You get back. A lot goes through your mind when you have a little guard coming at you like that.
Well, what I tried to do was to wait him out. To wait until the last possible moment and try to cut off the angle so that I was always between him and the basket and wait until he really committed himself. Caldwell had to try to anticipate that time, and that didn't work out for him.
He did it with the forwards, too.
Everybody. Centers, too. 17-13. Boston with a lead. Robert Parish. Look at that high archer. That's almost virtually unstoppable.
Basically, it is. But the one thing that Philadelphia doesn't want to see happen is like happened the last time down. Dawkins taking those outside shots. Parish can do it. He's a real good shooter. He's proved that. Dawkins is rather streaky. They'd like to see him in close.
Parish now with 4 points. Team fouls. Philadelphia has 4. Boston only 1 in the early going. Bird with another steal. Bird, great defense in this game.
Larry Bird is doing a heck of a job, Bill.
Yeah, Bird is
4th steal.
He's had 4 steals already. And he's really playing heads-up defense and taking out the passing lane.
There's Bird again, picking off the ball, takes it off on the break. Now watch this hesitation move right there. Hesitates a little bit with the ball, lays it up, used his body to screen off Caldwell Jones. The Celtics have run off an 11-2 spurt. They've got the lead, 21-13.
The scores from last night. That Denver-Golden State game really big. By Golden State losing last night, Houston has clinched a playoff spot. I've been told that Golden State had a 19-point lead with a minute to go in the 3rd quarter last night and lost that game to the Denver Nuggets.
It's hard to believe, but of course, always expect the unexpected in the NBA. And that run that they had was 11-3, Gary, but 7 straight for the Celtics.
Boy, this is great basketball, and this is what you can expect as we start the playoffs Wednesday night in Los Angeles. We're not sure who they'll play, but we'll be there. Lionel Hollins, Archibald on the floor. Bobby Jones has just checked in. Hollins overpassed the ball that time.
Exactly right. He should have shot that basketball. He got himself hung up in the air, tried to get it to Julius Erving, but it was tipped by a Celtic, so they're getting it back.
Bobby Jones, Andrew Toney, number 22, now has checked in for the Sixers. Toney playing very well, coming off the bench now, and he's fouled. Toney, since becoming a non-starter, which is the last 13 games, has averaged over 18 points. Chicago, the winner of that game, will be going against New York. The loser will be playing the loser of this game. And I want to tell you something. I am so impressed that Bill Russell is going to explain at halftime all the contingencies as far as the playoffs are concerned.
Thanks a lot.
That's pressure. That is real pressure. Toney at the line at the 4:26 mark. Andrew Toney had 24 points Friday night. 21-14, Boston with a lead. As Rick Barry mentioned, that 11-3 spurt, a three-pointer by Cheeks. Archibald, the doctor. Here they come. 3-on-2. Toney against Bird. What a move. What a move. And that basket will count, and he's fouled.
Take this. No, it's not it. Take that.
Yeah, let's see what he gave him, because he gave him some fancy stuff right there. Look at this move. He made a 360. But he also did a little move when he was in the air when Bird committed and went underneath his arm. There it is right there. Now he scoops underneath him, gets fouled with the body, still gets to go on the basket, a chance for a three-point play. It looks like what he did against Milwaukee a couple weeks ago coming off the bench.
That's right. He came in. He was our MVP that day. Billy Cunningham said before the game, he's the guy that can light us up. I think it's interesting, Bill Russell, that they made that change 13 games ago, bringing Lionel Hollins off the bench and putting Toney on the bench.
Well, you know, there are a lot of reasons for that. And one of the things is you want to get a maximum game out of your team. And some guys are able to handle starting better than other guys. This one of the reasons that some guys are successful is six man. Now also, in the same tone, I talked to Paul Westhead in L.A., and he said that Magic Johnson coming back for the last 17 games was the perfect amount.
There's two guys in this league, Bill, that are glad to have a longer season, Magic Johnson and M.L. Carr. I think they're the only two who've been playing themselves back into shape. You saw just a moment ago that graphic on the screen. We will be beginning our playoff coverage Wednesday night in the Forum in Los Angeles. Get this, it could be against Houston, Golden State, or Kansas City. And again, Bill will explain all that.
I will?
One thing that we should mention, man, and you've been in this situation, both of you, this is really a $100,000 game. The team that wins today gets $50,000 for the division title as well as the best record in basketball. I figured that out mathematically. That's over $8,000 per person.
Well, that's, hey. Say, what have you been doing? This is what you've been doing all day?
That'll buy a few packs of
cookies. You got your little computer out, huh?
Well, I was just trying to figure out what you guys make. Just trying to keep abreast of the times.
What we made.
All right, Toney at the line. This young man from Southwest Louisiana, averaging over 12 points a game, coming off the bench and very quickly contributing, cutting the lead now 21-17 in favor of the Boston Celtics. If you just joined us, this is for the Atlantic Division title and a bye in the first round of the playoffs. Robert Parish on Caldwell Jones, and a foul against Bobby Jones, who tried to go for the block.
Oh, see, Robert Parish hit a couple of shots from the outside. Now, the man's a little aware of the fact that the man's shooting well, so now he's conscious of this fact. Now, Parish fight for position. There he gets the inside. Now, watch, he'll make a little move.
Like he's going to go for the jump
Right,
shot.
now he'll make a little move here, give a little fake. Now, see, he comes out and overcommits. He gets beat. He goes by him. Now, on the weak side, help coming over to help out. The foul is picked up. So it's a good move on Parish's part, but his hitting a couple of outside shots was what set that up for him.
Robert Parish, a totally different person this year since coming over from Golden State. He is averaging over 18 points a game.
You know what he told me? He said, I'm playing exactly the same way.
Oh, really? Just more supporting cast, huh?
No, well, no, it's a different style. The team plays a different style. So that what he does shows more, or seems to be more effective.
Well, it's been effective as he played well for this Boston team. 23-19, Chris Ford off to Parish again. Caldwell Jones guarding him as Darryl Dawkins is catching a breather on the side. Ford out to Archibald, 7 seconds on the shot clock. There's that high archer again, and Julia serving with a rebound. The Doctor ripping it down. Up it comes to Lionel Hollins. He was intimidated by Parish to Caldwell. Robert Parish goaltending. Robert Parish, who is fourth in the NBA in block shots, that time called for goaltending.
Yes, I thought that maybe that first one on that Lionel Hollins might have been goaltending, but this one, you can't let it hit the board first.
23-21, and all of a sudden that lead has been whittled to 2. Philadelphia off to a shaky start, now putting it together. Philadelphia played very well this past week. Broken up by the Doctor. Julius Erving, he and Bird playing outstanding defense, and there's Bird with a steal. What a matchup between these two. Cornbread, and he has been called for charging. Maxwell with a foul.
Here's Julius Erving working inside. He had good position, just a bad pass in that situation, and Julius picked it off. Now he goes down, makes a move, he loses a little bit, and Bird is right there to knock it away when Julius lost control. So 5 steals already for Bird in this game.
Chicago, who's won 13 of their last 16, leading 22-18. We'll keep you posted on that throughout the day. What a big game that is. Another turnover. Philadelphia now with 8 in this game. 23-21. Bird into Cornbread. Up behind the Doctor that time.
Well, that time Doctor tried to get in front again, and he was a little bit late, and he overcommitted, and he got burned.
There's Kevin McHale, the outstanding rookie from Minnesota, getting ready to come in for the Boston Celtics. 1:54 to go. This first quarter moving quickly. Toney with Chris Ford on him. It's an absolute bedlam here. The crowd, they haven't quit yelling. 5 seconds on the shot clock. 3, and the Doctor is able to convert it. 25-23. Another one. They got behind him.
Well, that's 2 times they've got this.
What Maxwell did, as soon as Julius took the shot, he took off right there. As soon as the shot went, he took off. And that's just the way this season's been for these two guys. You win 60 games, and you don't gain anything.
The guards got to get back on defense on that play for Philly.
Jones, perseverance paying off. Possibly no. Parish up to Maxwell. To Larry Bird. Bird in trouble. And Caldwell saves it into Bobby Jones somehow. A minute to go in this first quarter. Andrew Toney charging on Toney. And that over Toney Archibald. Boy, this is some game, isn't it?
Hard-nosed, tough.
See, Archibald moves over after the man committed. Now, the crowd loved it, but that was a block on Archibald because the man was committed on the drive. He was still moving when the man was in the air. That should have been a block.
Toney with his first foul. 27-23. Maxwell with 6 points on that breakaway a while ago, and Maxwell did not play well Friday night. They hope to get him back on track today. Here's Kevin McHale, who just checked in, the rookie. Plays with a lot of confidence. Caldwell Jones off to the doctor. Julius Erving dribbled it off his foot. Don't see that happen very often.
Well, Julius had trouble the last 2 times down the floor and had turnovers.
Boy, that's 10 turnovers now against Philadelphia as opposed to 4 for the Boston Celtics. 30 seconds now remaining in the first quarter. 27-23, the Boston Celtics. Larry Bird, Robert Parish. High, Archer, what touch for a 7-footer.
And the Sixers are not stopping Boston from their inside game. They did it last week. That's why they blew them out. That's 10 inside baskets inside that 12-foot area already for Boston in this quarter. Only 6 for Philadelphia.
You see Billy Cunningham now. He's watching the clock for Toney, indicating how much time he has left. And you see what's left. Parish with a rebound, and that's going to end our first 12 minutes. The basket will not count. 12 minutes of exciting basketball here in this historic place. The fans are on their feet as the Celtics lead it 29-23. All right, there's the first 12 minutes. The Sixers, a little undershooting-wise. The Boston Celtics with 52. Bill Russell, one thing we want to watch closely, the guard scoring. We said at the top of the show that would be a key. Thus far, Philadelphia's outscored the Boston backcourt 11-9.
Except if it's that close, then that gives Boston the edge. You know, because Boston does not expect as much scoring out of their guards as Philadelphia gets out of their guards. So if they're about even, that puts Boston ahead.
And Boston is controlling the fast break. 11 opportunities have gotten 12 points. Philly's only had 7 opportunities. They've only gotten 5 points.
2 of those with nobody back. Here's Toney with Chris Ford on him. Bobby Jones in. Baseline, Clint Richardson who checked in. It's going to go to Boston. Clint Richardson, who's been averaging 13.5 points for the last 2 games. There's that score again. The Bulls with a 1-point lead. That game just like this one. Deciding a lot in the playoffs. Darryl Dawkins is back in. 6 foot 11.5, weighing in at 260 pounds in his 6th year. Ford up to Bird. Look at the double team on Larry Bird. Look at the big reach by Dawkins with one big arm. He ripped that one down. The doctor to Bobby Jones. Jones open. Nice pass. Good. Play by Irving, who spotted the open man.
And what Boston is doing every time Philadelphia takes a jump shot, Boston's releasing a man. The guy at the top of the key, or at least the guy that guards the man that's shooting the jump shot, is taken off so that you can run a fast break off after they've made a basket.
And that's the reason they got down there twice with nobody there, right?
But what they're doing is they're adding a certain amount of pressure to Philadelphia defense. It's hard to shoot if you're thinking, I got to get back.
Right.
And so you can take it up and make that part of your defense. Because all it is distraction. And distraction is distraction. That's just as important as if you're jumping the guy's face, if you can distract it.
Toney committing his 2nd personal foul. Archibald at the line. Toney, free throw shooting this year, over 80%, so he does not miss all that often. And Archibald makes it 30-25. There's Bill Fitch. His team on March 1st won here. Their biggest advantage at that time in this series by 7, only to lose last week by 32 points in the Spectrum in Philadelphia. The doctor with Kevin McHale on him. Clint Richardson. And Richardson retrieves. He went out of Parish spots him out of bounds. It will go to Boston. Great hustle by this young man from Seattle University.
There's the long rebound as it bounces out. Richardson makes a good effort to try to get to it. Right there, his foot was on the sideline. Even though the ball was in bounds, he was still ruled out.
There'll be a lot of bodies on the floor today in this type of game. 10:41 to go in the second quarter. Larry Bird with that outstanding jump shot. Bird, who's averaging over 21 a game, makes it 32-25. Larry Bird with 8 points. Andrew Toney. Nice fake by Toney. Boy, he was able to move forward back off of him, wasn't he?
Well, he used his left arm to do that. He's lucky he didn't get an offensive foul.
Rick Roby is in, loses it to Toney. The Sixers play catch-up basketball. Clint Richardson, and now it's all of a sudden a three-point game.
As you can see, the Philadelphia guards run that fast break. But normally, on that fast break, Clint Richardson is down defense. But normally, Philadelphia likes to run the fast break with their front court.
Three-point lead now for the Celtics. Bird. Chris Ford, that's a three-pointer by Ford. Chris Ford, who had got a long dry spell, he finally hit his first three-pointer Friday night for the first time in 13 games, but he has one here. Toney, rebound Bobby Jones. Jones is fouled. Well, Chris Ford, who comes into this game 7th in the NBA on three-point plays. Look at the hustle inside.
Well, nobody screened Bobby Jones out. You can see he just knifed his way in without the screening being done on him. There he makes a fake, gets the men up in the air. Two fellas fouled them. They had their choice on that one.
And so it's 35-29, 9.5 to go in the second quarter. Champion Milwaukee Bucks in the second period with a 36-34 lead. Nobody wants to play them in the playoffs. In Chicago, Indiana, for second place. 36-29. Of course, Atlanta now under a new coach. Hubie Brown was fired just this week.
Hey, Gary, think about this. Milwaukee, everyone has got to try to avoid Milwaukee in the East, right? I'd like to be Milwaukee. They changed divisions. They win. They got third best record in the league. If they were stayed in the Western Conference, they'd have won the Western Conference championship.
But you're right, Bill. Nobody wants to play those guys. Here's an interesting stat, as you saw a moment ago, ML Carr checking the lineup. Philadelphia's outscored the Boston bench thus far 12-0. Is that misleading, Bill, or is that a good stat?
Oh, it's misleading because Andrew Toney is primarily a scorer, and Bobby Jones is very much a sixth man, is very much part of the offense. Whereas the Boston substitutes, Kevin McHale and Rick Roby, they haven't had a chance to get a shot yet.
Andrew Toney, one of those men coming off the bench that you mentioned, and it's 2 points now, 35-33. This is the way it's going to be.
You don't win 60 over 60 games backing off. Neither one of these teams is going to back off. You can count on that.
The intensity has been exactly what we expected it to be, and we have a lot of basketball to play. The Celtics by 2. 4 seconds on the shot clock. 3. Another steal by the Doctor. Julius Erving, one of his patented moves as he comes out. Toney, and Toney now has a hot hand.
Julius with 2 good steals in a row to ignite this Philadelphia offense. So we've got a new ball game here with 8:39 to go.
10 points for Toney. Bill Fitch a little concerned. His team led by 8 in that first quarter of play, and now it's all even at the 8:30 mark. Archibald answering at the other end, and the backcourt's contributing a lot in that scoring column in the early going of this game. Parish cheeks with Archibald. He lost it. Archibald, the Celtics by 2. Finding on Cheeks, and hitting the deck is Archibald again. Cheeks coming away with the foul. Archibald hits the floor more than anybody in the league.
Calvin Murphy does a good job of it. He even falls down on the jump shots. But the little guys, I guess they figure if they fall, the officials may take care of them. They can relate to the little guys. There's the drive. There's the foul on the arm right there by Cheeks. Well, this time he kind of bounced off Darryl Dawkins. That's pretty good reason to fall that time.
Larry Bird, the Doctor with the rebound, and here he comes. Something seems exciting happen every time he heads down the floor with the ball. A chance to tie it. The Sixers. 62 wins for Philadelphia, 61 for Boston, and they still haven't won the division. Rebound Jones, and we're going to have a foul on Robert Parish.
There's the shot by the Doctor. Robert Parish in the middle, nobody near him. Dawkins comes over, Jones comes over. They get the ball at the same time. They call the foul on Parish.
That's his first foul, and that, of course, a great difference as opposed to a week ago when Parish picked up 3 in a hurry. 37-35. Thus far, 3-2 the series in favor of the Philadelphia 76ers. Looking at Bird with yet another steal off the Parish. Behind. Boy, that's got to be intimidating to have Dawkins chase you like that.
He almost missed that shot, Bill. He picked his dribble up a little bit soon, and he had to kind of lean out there and throw it over the front of the rim. Almost missed it. One more dribble, and he would have had the easy stuff.
You think he knew Dawkins was coming?
I knew he didn't want to dribble it anymore.
He probably heard the floor, felt the floor shaking.
Here's Darrell against Parish. Rejected, walking, traveling on Darrell. He does not like that at all. And that is 15 turnovers against Philadelphia.
Here's the play again, the fast break that just happened before this. Bird, again, his 6th steal. Great lead pass. Now Parish takes it right there. See, he pulls it up and goes from such a long distance. One more dribble would have made it a little bit easier.
If he made one more dribble, he would have been Pele.
He may have
He
been
would have kicked that one.
He would have been in the bleachers somewhere, the ball.
Maybe not even in the arena. Archibald, nice pass. And that's goaltending. Darrell Dawkins called for goaltending.
There's a nice dribble out there and a penetration. 3 men come to him. Bird all by himself takes it up and hits the glass. There's the block afterwards. Goaltending.
41-35. Philadelphia this year leading the NBA in block shots. Boston having their best year in a long time in that department. The best since the days of Bill Russell. Andrew Toney. Boy, Toney is really some shooter from outside. He has 12 points. Archibald, Lionel Hollins on him. 6.5 minutes to go until halftime. Cornbread. Broken up by Dawkins. Andrew Toney with already 12, looking for 2 more. We saw him do this against Milwaukee.
Yeah, he's lighting it up.
Ooh. Number 1 draft pick out of Southwest Louisiana. He was the 8th player taken on the first round. 41-39. It's a 2-point game again. M.L. Carr, who's out 41 games this year with a foot injury, playing himself back into shape. Archibald, good ball movement to Bird. 3 seconds on the shot clock. 2. Parish. Rebound, Lionel Hollins. And we're going to have a foul.
Tiny Archibald tried to reach in the backcourt to make the steal after Lionel Hollins had possession. Official right on top of the play. Ed Rush calls the backcourt foul. 41-39, Boston.
Milwaukee continues to lead the Atlanta Hawks 42-36. And this is the one of most interest. Chicago leading the Indiana Pacers. Boy, has Chicago come on to make the playoffs, and of course trying to win today to move against New York in that mini-series. Here's Toney with 14 points, which, by the way, is the high he's been able to score against Boston in the previous 5 games. He did earlier this year have 32 points in a game against Indiana. The bench scoring, we'll throw it at you again for what it's worth. Philadelphia now has outscored the Boston bench 22-0. And of course, 14 of those coming from Toney.
10 of them in this quarter and just a little over 6 minutes of playing time. He's been a real factor. He may have found a whole new position in life coming off the bench, Bill. And that really is a compliment to him because a lot of players aren't capable of doing that.
And Bill, this is where that 6-man all started, was the Boston Garden. Frank Ramsey, John Havlicek. Which reminds me, at halftime, we'll have Hondo on, our rebound feature. And also, Bill and Rick will discuss the playoffs. Robert Parish, it'll count. And he's been fouled.
Well, they got to break that time, Bill. Toney made a good defensive play on this. Here you'll see him cut across right there. He'll knock the ball loose. Nice defense, but look at who it goes to. Dawkins gets spun around, picks up the foul as Parish lays it in the basket. So the old luck of the Irish helped that time.
2 fouls on Dawkins. An interesting thing about Parish, the 2 games that the Celtics have won against Philadelphia, he scored 25 and 21 points. The 3 losses, 15, 11, and 9. So that may be something to watch. Over 20 points. And thus far, already in this game, he has 13. Caldwell Jones with Maxwell on him. M.L. Carr with the steal. Toney trying to go for it, and it's going to be a foul on Toney. It will not be a backcourt.
Here's the pass coming up right there. Nice play on the angle that time by ML. They they say he had possession if the foul occurred right back there. It looked like he was still struggling to get it, but Earl Strom said no, so it's a backcourt foul.
The significance of that is that's 3 fouls on Toney, so they'll lose his hot hand, and this man, Parish Cheeks, will check into the lineup as Carr goes to the line. ML Carr, what an attitude this guy has. He has really been one of these men that's had a tough year, but his attitude has never changed. Gerald Henderson coming in. Archibald will lead. Toney with 8 points. But ML hurt that foot in the 7th game of the year. Broke his left foot out 41 games. Playing very well lately.
Now, what change made may be significant. Gerald Henderson in for Toney Archibald. One of the things that Archibald does for the Boston team is he sets the pace for the rhythm of their offense. And there's going to be a definite change. Now, we've got to see how much that affects. Just in the rhythm of their offense. Not so much to do with shooting, but when? In what kind of situation?
The Doctor, rebound by Henderson. The more I'm around you, Bill, the more I hear that word rhythm. So important in the game of basketball.
Because you got 5 guys that have to be in sync. And so when you change that, you can throw that whole synchronization off because of that slight change, a very slight change.
Well, Henderson having a tough time adjusting there. He walks with the ball. There's the Chicago score by 7 now over Indiana. This one, 46-39, a 7-point lead for the Boston Celtics. 4.5 minutes to go in the first half of play. The Doctor off to Lionel Hollins. Hollins shaking Carr. Caldwell Jones tries to follow. Here comes Henderson. Look at Maxwell fill the lane. Broken up off of Philadelphia. There's Darrell. 2 fouls on this big guy. He had a high this year of 26 points against Boston.
Henderson stops the jumper. Dawkins with the good hustle coming down the floor is able to knock the ball away. No foul.
There's Dawkins reaching in on Parish. Gerald Henderson. Cheeks. Rebound Parish, and Parish with a fresh 24 seconds out to Larry Bird. 48-39, the biggest lead of the game for the Boston Celtics by 9.
Larry Bird wants this bad. He hit that shot and he turned around as Billy Cunningham is calling a timeout, and it went in, and he said, yeah.
Billy Cunningham, knowing that he's got to stem some of this momentum at this particular stage of the game, with 4:01 remaining in it, now trails by 9, 48-39. Rick Barry and Bill Russell at the Boston Garden. 4:01 remaining in this first half. The biggest lead of the game for the Celtics. Look at the turnovers, 15-7. Sixers earlier had 14 to about 4. Attendance today, 15,320. They played to 97% capacity this year in the Garden. Second only to the Seattle Supersonics in attendance for the year. Parish Cheeks. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Darrell Dawkins deflected by Parish. Parish with a block on Darrell Dawkins. Larry Bird out to Henderson. Henderson will back it out. The Boston Celtics now playing very, very fine basketball with this lead of 9. Rebound Dawkins. No question about who had that one. Lionel Hollins. ML Carr on him. Lionel Hollins having a tough time shooting thus far. That hit the basket standard. It will be Boston basketball.
Here's Robert Parish in the defense. Inside pass. Dawkins tries to muscle in. Parish times it beautifully. He goes up and knocks it away. Good defense that time by the Celtics.
There's Parish. He had 1 block shot in 26 straight games, at least 1. And as you see, the leader on this Boston team. 48-39 for ML Carr. Philadelphia now has hit a dry spell. After tying at 35 all, they've been outscored 13-4. Rebound by Cheeks. Philadelphia needs a basket. The Sixers hitting a drought at this particular stage of the game at 2:48 remaining in the first half. Cheeks not getting a lot of movement away from the ball. There's Henderson inside, and Henderson has committed a foul.
Henderson saying that he pushed me off. Earl Strom says, no, you got him with the body out before you went in for the drive.
Earl Strom in his 23rd year of officiating. The Doctor with Maxwell on him. Julius trying to get those points they need, and they just aren't coming right now for Philadelphia. Philadelphia struggling. Boston with a 9-point lead. Parish, and he's hammered. They go seconds. A penalty in effect, and Darrell now with 3 fouls.
There he makes the fake. You see Dawkins lean forward as he did. Wisely Parish around him. He got bumped on the body by Dawkins before Julius came over and fouled him also.
Bobby Jones will come in as 3 fouls will get Darrell out of there.
What Boston is doing so far is they're keeping a tremendous amount of pressure on Philadelphia. But every time they get possession of the ball, they're running it down. Now, the idea is to make them have to strain to get back on defense and to try to start your offense before they have a chance to set up and match up. You see, if you can get down and get your shots or your offense starts before they get a chance to match up with the guys they want to guard, then you have an advantage. And also, they're creating a situation, as I said earlier, where they're taking off. They're trusting the other guys to get the boards. And at least one guy is taking off, and that's putting a strain on the Philadelphia defense trying to get back to make that transition.
Kevin McHale checks in for Larry Bird. Bird on the bench with 12 points. 50-39. 11-point lead. Bobby Jones, they still can't get that shot to go. Parish with the rebound. And Philadelphia has really hit a cold spell. 2:10 to go in this first half. And you can see the partisan Celtic crowd enjoying this development at this particular point of the game. Henderson. Maxwell hustling, comes away with it. Philadelphia's back outside, and they have a fresh shot clock to work with.
Philadelphia hasn't scored a basket for over 4 minutes.
And they've been outscored thus far 15-4 since that time. Boston at home here has been so tough. This year they're 34-6. Parish gives them a 13-point lead. 52-39, Henderson with a steal. The place is up for grabs.
Look at the Boston bench. The whole Boston bench is up there. Really pumped up for this game, Bill Russell. They're really up.
I think Bill Russell's experienced this somewhere along his playing, as well as coaching days here in Boston. 5 seconds on the shot clock. McHale. Bobby Jones with the rebound. They survive the steal. Jones is fouled in the backcourt. That will be a backcourt foul. The penalty in effect.
If you're going to get a backcourt foul, that is a legitimate backcourt foul. That is, most backcourt fouls are bad fouls. But the way they're going now, that was a good gamble to take on Kevin McHale's part. Now you see Bobby Jones got the rebound, and he's put the ball right out there in front. And so to try to go, those are the kind of chances you have to take in a game like this, especially with the tempo being what it is. What they're doing is they're playing them full court without really setting up a press.
There's an interesting stat. Parish was 17.
Well, whatever the problems the Celtics had in the last week or two, they don't have it this afternoon. There's no question about it. They are playing basketball like the team that we've seen play most of the season. They are really back in the groove, and Philadelphia all of a sudden seems to be faltering somewhat.
Billy Cunningham said, I like the position we're in, but he doesn't like it right now. I guess those 13 flags up on the rafters, there's been a few pressure games like this in the history of this organization. And right now, the Celtics have responded. Bobby Jones at the line. Billy Cunningham trying to regroup forces. 1:07 to go in the first half.
If you have to say anything, it seems as though Robert Parish has been the pivotal man in this series. He got in trouble in that game last week and was out of the game. The Celtics were able to blow them out. And as you pointed out, Gary, when he's played well, the Celtics have won.
Bobby Jones now trying to give him some stability. That point was a long time in coming, wasn't it? 2 free throws by Jones. Makes it 52-41.
Almost 5 minutes.
Over 5 minutes.
Almost 5.
And Rush puts the traveling call, and now Philadelphia with a chance to close it a little bit. There's Henderson. Henderson playing a lot this year after Carr went out with injury.
Amazingly, Gary, the Philadelphia last field goal came with 8:24 to go in this quarter. That's the last time they scored a field goal.
Bobby Jones and the doctor just forced nothing through.
That's a power move.
Oh, 52-43. Philadelphia trying to close out on a positive note here in this first half. 47 seconds remaining in it. Look at that pick by Rick Roby. 10 seconds on the shot clock, and that's going to go against Boston.
Let's watch Julius on that great effort on the offensive boards. Bill Fitch not happy with that last call. Here comes the ball off. Doctor comes in. Nobody again screens him off. He's just able to go and just jump right up and knock it back in the basket. The last basket
third personal foul. Philadelphia now, they scored 4 unanswered points. Going to try to make it 6. That's a block by Kevin McHale. McHale leads the NBA rookies in blocks, and Boston throws it away again. Right now, Boston, with this lead, losing some excellent opportunities. Billy Cunningham wanted a timeout. He wanted to get Toney in the game, but he didn't get him in. And so now they'll play for the last shot of this first half. He had Toney up. You see Billy, look at him, at the upper right-hand portion of your screen, yelling. He's setting it up. You see the time left in this first half. Julius, rejected by McHale again. Carr, it'll count. M.L. Carr, with a second remaining in the first half, scored. 54-43, and the Boston Celtics have had a remarkable second quarter.
They certainly have. They are really pumped up playing the tough defense. Even the guys off the bench, Bill McHale makes 2 big blocks right here in the last minute of the quarter.
So at halftime, Rick and Bill will take a look at the possibilities of the playoffs. Also, we'll have a feature on none other than Hondo John Havlicek.
Clock tick away. Picks up his dribble, makes a nice move as Hollins goes by him and lays it up in the basket for the lead that we have right now of 54-43. And the Celtics really were tough on defense in that half.
Bill, what are they going to have to do to get back in here?
Well, they're going to have to, I think a key thing they've done is turn the ball over too much. They've let not only the good defensive plays, but a couple of times like the doctor dribbled it off his foot. I think it, Murray's cheek just dropped it one time and things like that. But they got a pretty hard defense, but they got to get to running. Because they are an outstanding team when they're running, and Boston shut down their fast break.
Philadelphia was 17 turnovers in the first half, opposed to 10 for the Boston Celtics. Daryl Dawkins, and there's another turnover. Archibald with a steal. In that first half of play, surprisingly, Philadelphia out-rebounded the Celtics 25-11. The turnover department, and of course the scoreboard in favor of this Boston Celtic team trying to win back-to-back Atlantic Division titles. 11-point lead for Boston. Their biggest lead in the first half was 13. Philadelphia did lead one time by 2. Parish, Maxwell, loose ball foul on Cedric Maxwell. 24 seconds. They did not get it underway. The shot clock running down. And so let's look at the stats a little closer. The rebounds, 25, 17, assists, turnovers. That's the big statistic we talked about.
Yeah, I think that's, in this game today, has been the most important one. It's been the turnovers.
That foul will go on Toney Archibald, his second.
And you see them banging inside, trying to get position. If you don't think this is, they say, a non-contact sport,
this is not the one. And the reason I think that the turnovers are so important is that it has affected the way the teams have run their offense. The fast break of Philadelphia hasn't worked because of the turnovers.
Philadelphia missing some good percentage shots, and there will be a foul on Lionel Hollins.
and another good opportunity on the break for the Celtics. In the first half, they had 16 opportunities, Bill. They got 18 points off of those 16 tries. Philly only got 9 breaks and only 7 points, and that's the big difference in this game because both teams like to run, and Boston has established their running game in this ball game.
And it's all written on that man's face, Billy Cunningham. You can read it like a book. He is struggling right now. He's suffering as this Boston team now has a 55-43 lead, and Larry Bird thus far with 13 points. In the first half, Parish led the Celtics with 17.
Well, Larry Bird got off to a real good start. He scored fairly well, but he made a lot of key steals that first quarter. That's part of the reason the turnovers that Philadelphia had. And he did a good job playing defense and rebounding. So he set the pace for the team in the first quarter.
Bill,
not so much by scoring, but by his other play.
You've said so many times the start of the second half is so important. And Philadelphia right now, it's not going the way they would like it.
And Julius is having a tough game shooting. He was 3 for 9 at the half. He's already missed a couple in this quarter, so he's having a tough game from the floor.
He's not getting good shots because the fact that they're not running, they're not getting the shots they want.
Chris Ford, very good shot. Maxwell, Dawkins trying to reject it. Parish, and a foul.
It's going to be, I think, the 4 clock tick away. Picks up his dribble, makes a nice move as Hollins goes by him and lays it up in the basket for the lead that we have right now of 54-43, and the Celtics really were tough on defense in that half.
Bill, what are they going to have to do to get back in here?
Well, they're going to have to, I think a key thing they've done is turn the ball over too much. They've let not only the good defensive plays, but a couple of times, like the doctor dribbled it off his foot. I think that Murray's cheek just dropped it one time and things like that. But they got to play the hard defense, but they got to get to running. Because they are outstanding team when they're running, and Boston set down their fast break.
Philadelphia was 17 turnovers in the first half, opposed to 10 for the Boston Celtics. Daryl Dawkins, and there's another turnover. Archibald with a steal. In that first half of play, surprisingly, Philadelphia out-rebounded the Celtics 25-11. The turnover department, and of course the scoreboard in favor of this Boston Celtic team trying to win back-to-back Atlantic Division titles. 11-point lead for Boston. Their biggest lead in the first half was 13. Philadelphia did lead one time by 2. Parish, Maxwell, loose ball foul on Cedric Maxwell. 24 seconds. They did not get it underway. The shot clock running down. And so let's look at the stats a little closer. The rebounds, 25, 17, assists, turnovers. That's the big statistic we talked about.
Yeah, I think that's in this game today has been the most important one. It's been the turnovers.
That foul will go on Toney Archibald, his second.
And
you see them banging inside, trying to get position. If you don't think this is, they say, a non-contact sport,
this is not the one. And the reason I think that the turnovers are so important is that it has affected the way the teams have run their offense. The fast break of Philadelphia hasn't worked because of the turnovers.
Philadelphia missing some good percentage shots, and there will be a foul on Lionel Hollins.
another good opportunity on the break for the Celtics. In the first half, they had 16 opportunities, Bill. They got 18 points off of those 16 tries. Philly only got 9 breaks and only 7 points, and that's the big difference in this game because both teams like to run, and Boston has established their running game in this ball game.
And it's all written on that man's face, Billy Cunningham. You can read it like a book. He is struggling right now. He's suffering as this Boston team now has a 55-43 lead, and Larry Bird thus far with 13 points. In the first half, Parish led the Celtics with 17.
Well, Larry Bird got off to a real good start. He scored fairly well, but he made a lot of key steals that first quarter. That's part of the reason the turnovers that Philadelphia had. And he did a good job playing defense and rebounding. So he set the pace for the team in the first quarter.
Bill,
not so much by scoring, but by his other play.
You said so many times the start of the second half is so important. And Philadelphia right now, it's not going the way they would like it.
And Julius is having a tough game shooting. He was 3 for 9 at the half. He's already missed a couple in this quarter, so he's having a tough game from the floor.
He's not getting good shots because the fact that they're not running, they're not getting the shots they want.
Chris Ford, very good shot. Maxwell, Dawkins trying to reject it. Parish, and a foul.
It's going to be, I think, the 4th on Daryl Dawkins. I think he got it from behind. That's who it's on. But the tenacity on the offensive boards here by the Celtics. First, Maxwell, he goes up. He doesn't get it. Parish will take it up. Good fake. He misses. He's back again to get it, and there's the foul by Dawkins.
That's 4 on Daryl Dawkins. And 10:08 to go in this third quarter of play. So Philadelphia, who trail by 11.5, not getting off on good footing in this third quarter. 2 holes today. Bill Rogers, who had a 3-stroke lead going into today, now only leads by 1 over Hale Irwin.
Hale Irwin is one of the more consistent players on the tour. He's a young man that usually plays well on difficult golf courses, and certainly the track down there is one of the more difficult ones at times.
Here's an interesting statistic, man. Philadelphia has been held to 8 points in the last 6 minutes and 39 seconds of play.
Well, what has happened, Robert Parish is having an outstanding game, but which is an outstanding game, but the Philadelphia backcourt, with the exception of Andrew Toney, has not made a significant contribution. And they have to make a significant contribution for the Philadelphia team to be good.
58-43. Cheeks into Caldwell Jones. There's 2 points, and that's the start back for this Philadelphia team.
That's one thing I don't think they do enough of is go inside to him when they're not getting good shots.
Well, he's known for his rebounding and his defense. He was a scorer the days of the ABA. 39 games this year. He's been in double figures rebounding-wise, and they've won 33 of them. Archibald.
Well, that's good ball movement. There was a double team by Philadelphia. The good cross-court pass to Ford. Somebody ran to him. He got it to Toney Archibald, who was open, and put it in.
Toney now in double figures. He has 10 points. Good balanced scoring. 14 by Bird, 19 by Parish. Lionel Hollins. Again, those shots from outside.
They don't need those type of shots. They're not good shots like Bill pointed out earlier.
Maxwell.
And that's what happens when you take fast shots like that, Bill. It keys the fast break. It's a situation when you miss those long outside shots, the other team gets the rebound, they're off to the races.
Right, because you take the 20-foot jump shot, there's no transition.
You saw the foul difficulty. Dawkins is staying in there with those 4 personals. Reach in by Maxwell.
Now here's what we were talking about. There's the shot, the long shot. There's the long rebound. Parish gets the ball out. Philadelphia a little slow getting back. Archibald takes it to Maxwell, who just busted down the floor and beat everybody back for the layup.
2 changes. Toney and Jones coming in. Dawkins and Lionel Hollins check out. As right now, Billy Cunningham looking for a workable solution.
Well, what he's trying to get is a quicker team in there.
The shot clock expired. Good defense by this Boston team. Boston coming in here, ranked number 1 in defense, allowing only 103 points a game.
But at least they tried to do the right thing. They did have penetration. They were a little late because the clock ran out, but they did try to go inside.
Chicago leading Indiana again. That determines second place in that division. Milwaukee having a tough time with Atlanta. 8:30 to go in this third quarter. Archibald, he was hit by Cheeks after the shot. No harm, no foul. Here comes Andrew Toney. Toney in to try to get him going, and it drops. Andrew Toney who had 14 points in the first half. 16 for the game. Chris Ford. Bobby Jones. Parish is over the top of him. It'll be off. No, it's off of Philadelphia. Boston will have the basketball.
But they were lucky that time because Boston had another break situation, but good hustle getting back on defense was Caldwell Jones to help stem the tide a little bit.
62-47 in favor of the Boston Celtics. 8 minutes to go, third quarter. Archibald back to Maxwell. Here's Larry Bird. Larry Bird now with 16 points. Larry Bird averaging over 21 per game. He's up in every statistical category, and this is second year. Bobby Jones to Caldwell Jones. Caldwell try another hook. Oh, what a play by the doctor.
And again, when you don't box a man like Julius Erving off the offensive board, you're going to have problems. That time he stayed on the baseline, nobody boxed him out. He made a great individual effort to tip it in.
I'll say one thing, the intensity's picked up just another click as far as Philadelphia is concerned, and we've had intensity in this game. Larry Bird off to Parish, broken up by Cheeks, but they got him for the foul. Cheeks reaching in, got a piece of Robert Parish. Cheeks, that's his 3rd personal foul.
That was a good play with Robert Parish and Larry Bird. He sent the pick, and then when they made a switch, he went to the basket, but he hesitated just enough, so they caught the defense halfway between, so they had to get weak side help. And when you have to get weak side help on that type of play, that far out, the chances are either they're going to foul or you'll get a dunk shot.
Now, as you look at that graphic of Parish, 20 points. If it holds consistently, they're going to win this game today because each time he scored 20 or more, Boston has beaten Philadelphia. He has 20 already. 65-49, Cheeks. Again, they're shooting outside, just not giving them the advantage that they would like to have.
You can get that shot anytime you want. You don't have to come down and take it right away, especially when you're struggling a little bit.
Robert Parish. Chris Ford will bring it out. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Archibald. There's Parish forcing the boards. And now Caldwell Jones brings it down. Caldwell Jones with the rebound. In the first half, he had a total of 6. That'll be goaltending. Now 65-51.
Well, Julius busts down on the break. Here he makes the move across the middle. He's going to take a very difficult shot. And there's the goaltending as the ball was on its way down. Maxwell called for goaltending.
Philadelphia somehow trying to claw their way back into this game. The winner wins the Atlantic Division, gets a bye in the playoff. Archibald out to Ford. Toney giving chase. Ford.
2 seconds on the shot clock.
This Boston team has worked the shot clock very effectively. 9 points for Chris Ford. Ford has been struggling. He's been averaging only 7 points a game the last 12. Bobby Jones, he's in
result of the good defense these teams that play the first half. And that you know as you go inside, the chance of getting an easy jump shot off are very low. Because both teams are blocking in the middle of the straight. They're blocking shots like there's no tomorrow.
30th year with this organization, 11 times world champions, and he has just been given a lifetime contract by the Boston Celtic organization.
That's 13 times world champions. And that was the payer and the payee. He just signed a lifetime contract. Somebody's got to pay it.
Harry Mangurian, the payee. Is that right?
Right. The payer.
Like those payees, right, Bill?
Okay. 67-51. 6 minutes left in this third quarter. Steve Mix is now checked into the Philadelphia lineup for the first time. He missed a game this week with an ankle sprain, but according to Billy Cunningham, is healthy. In for the first time, as far as Boston is concerned, no changes since the timeout. Robert Parish reaching in was Toney. Larry Bird, 3 seconds, 2, 1. They got it underway. No, they did not.
Very unusual. We've seen 3 24-second violations already in this game, and you go weeks sometimes without ever seeing one.
Look at that.
But these two teams play such good defense, that'll happen.
Look at that stand in the middle there, Bill. Parrish, he has really dominated Darryl Dawkins. Mix. And as he moved inside, we have a foul coming up against Boston.
This will be on Larry Bird, and what happens is he doesn't give Mix a chance to even take a step when he goes for this pass. There's the lob. He went to go for the ball, and Bird had moved underneath him and didn't give him a step, and you have to give him that one step.
Bobby Jones moving on Bird. Parrish. They're going to call that goaltending. Parrish.
Now, he got there a little late. He blocked the call goaltending, but that's not going to hurt you. He would probably made a shot anyway, but what will happen the next time he comes in there, he'll be thinking.
That was close, and what an effort by Parrish, who came flying over there. As we said, he comes into this ball game 4th in the NBA in block shots. 67-53, 5:13 left to play in this third quarter. Bird from outside. Caldwell Jones, Philadelphia trying to make a move. Cheeks. And it won't go, and is that a frustrating development for these Sixers? Archibald to Chris Ford. Out to Toney once again. They wait for Maxwell to return, and he's in position. 12 seconds on the shot clock. A steal almost by Toney. Toney hits the floor. He's okay. Archibald, look at the intensity in this game. Bobby Jones up to Toney. That's hard work. They just missed one earlier and came right back.
Bill Fitch is calling a timeout. He doesn't like the way things are going. Now watch Toney sneak in and makes the steal. Unfortunately for the Sixers, it goes to Tiny Archibald. That's what the crowd was booing about. They thought that that should have been a foul there, but the Sixers have not given up. They're showing a lot of intensity. They've got it back to a 12-point deficit.
Yesterday for North Carolina, he'll be in that Pizza Hut Classic next Saturday. Bill?
Now, Andrew Toney, some people think that he shoots a funny shot, but if you watch on his release here, everything is lined up. And that's a sign of a good shooter, that when they release the ball, everything is lined up.
Toney really putting a great effort in the last couple of minutes, defensively as well as offensively. The trap in the backcourt. Archibald. Chris Ford, they're trapping everyone now. 9 seconds on the shot clock. The open man is Bird.
That's the way you beat the press and defense. Pass the basketball. Somebody will be open somewhere if you move it quick enough.
Hustle on both sides that time. The hustle on defense, but then finding the open man offensively was Boston. Toney broken up by Ford. Ford reaching in. Caldwell Jones. Ford, he's going to bring it back out.
Smart move.
He's been around the league 9 years. He knows better. Look at this. Chicago still leading the Indiana Pacers. Of course, that's so important in the playoff picture. Maxwell against Steve Mix. Mix thought he traveled with the ball. 71-55, Maxwell with 10 points. Now the Celtics have 1, 2, 3, 4 men in double figures, led by Parish with 20. And a foul coming up. Loose ball foul on Cedric Maxwell. His 4th.
Here's Maxwell. He got good position. It's like he got hit on the arm when he made that play right there. No foul was called. He had good muscle move.
Cedric Maxwell coming into this ball game, his 3rd in the NBA advantage. He won the title a year ago. Jones with Bird up there, and they couldn't get it to work. Archibald. Out to Bird. Bird wants a shot, and he has one.
A nice fake. Bobby Jones, one of the best defensive players in the league, surprisingly went for the fake. Toney out of position. Bird moved around and is wide open, and he's got the hot hand.
Larry Bird now with 20 points. Philadelphia asks for the timeout. They have 3 left. Kevin McHale getting ready to come in.
Well, here's the play again. Here's the defensive play right there. Passed into Jones. He never gets control of it. The Celtics are off to the races again. Toney breaks down in the middle. Sees it's not there. Gets back out to Bird. There's the fake. Bobby Jones goes by. Bird hits 2.
Larry Bird with 20. Parish with 20. As next week we'll begin our playoffs on Wednesday night in the Forum in Los Angeles. We know the Lakers will be one of those teams. We still have to wait through the end of today to know who their opponent will be. Be one of 3 teams: Houston, Kansas City, or Golden State.
Bill, you have to admit, the way Philadelphia played last week and the way they played this week, blowing everybody out, and the way Boston has been going, this is the last thing in the world you would have expected to see happen here this afternoon, to have Boston take such control of this game.
Well, what happens, Rick, when you get 2 real strong teams, the difference is with uneven teams is that when you get a little ahead, you can come back fairly easy. Now, Philadelphia's been fighting to come back for over half of this game. And every time they make a run, the Celtics respond, but they're so good when they respond that they pull away. And the same thing happened last week. It wasn't that the Celtics played so bad, is that once you get behind these guys, the pressure, they keep the pressure at all times. Now, look at that last play. They did the same thing they've been doing. They got the ball, they run down, they rush it down just to see if they can keep the other guys setting up defensively.
73-55 on the floor. Parish, and he's going to have a foul on Caldwell Jones of Philadelphia.
Well, it's certainly because, not from lack of effort on the part of Caldwell Jones, a little frustration perhaps. Here's the pass going to go inside. Can't get the handle on it. Caldwell dives down. Robert Parish gets the ball back. Caldwell dives right on top of him and picks up the foul. There he goes right there.
Little football here in the middle of a basketball game. The backcourt in this game. Philadelphia's backcourt has scored 27 points. Boston's 23.
As I said earlier, as long as they stay pretty even, that gives Boston an advantage.
Toney has scored most of those as far as Philadelphia is concerned. 7 seconds on the shot clock.
Cunningham was up. He felt there should have been an offensive foul on him. Chris Ford hits again, and the Celtics are hitting from the outside as well as inside.
Ford now with 11 points. 75-55, a 20-point lead. And that's going to go up a Boston.
They call a foul inside, I believe, Gary. Bumping. And it looks... Kevin McHale picked up the foul.
McHale committing his first personal foul with 2:17. Philadelphia playing on the road right now has everything going against them. Perry with the steal, and this Boston team can do no wrong in this game.
They're trying to force the ball inside. That time there were 3 Celtics in there, Bill, and they tried to throw a lob pass into the middle. You can't get away with that. Not against a good team.
Billy Cunningham just standing up on the far side. He's got to be stunned by the development of this game thus far. Boy, to win 62 games, to come down to this and then find yourself down by 20 points. McHale with the rebound. Boy, he has really contributed in this game. There's Billy. Penalty in effect after that foul.
Race Cheeks reaching in, the frustration. You can see it on Billy Cunningham's face. And the disbelief. It's really hard for me to believe that these 2 teams can make such a complete turnaround. I mean, you're talking about a 52-point difference right now between these teams from one week to the next.
That foul on Cheeks was his 4th personal foul. He will come out of the ball game. Hollins, number 9, checks in. Still 1:49 to go in this 3rd quarter.
Yet another example as to why when people ask me what's going to happen, I say, hey, I don't know. This game is so unpredictable. That's what makes it so exciting, because you can't really predict what is going to happen.
Well, what has happened so far is that the Philadelphia backcourt, with the exception of Andrew Toney, has been, for all intents and purposes, shut out.
Well, you can look at that statistically. You're exactly right. Toney with 18 points, Hollins with 2, Cheeks with 5.
And here, Parish has been a real force both offensively and defensively.
Looks like they may be losing a little bit of their poise right now.
Well, they're trying to get inside, but they're using the incorrect method. The way to get inside is not to post anyone. The way to get inside is to have weak side cutters away from the ball and give them the ball going inside on the run. But you can't do it posting someone up.
That last turnover by Philadelphia is their 23rd of the game. There's their 24th.
They are not playing a very crisp basketball game out here, but credit a lot of that to the Celtic defense. They're putting the pressure on.
That continual pressure will make you do things like that because you get trying to be over careful.
You see that matchup? We showed you Dawkins a while ago against Parish. You can see the play of Bird and Parish. They're getting the better of those two matchups. Archibald and a foul. Manny Archibald fouled. Lionel Hollins the penalty in. I think I saw a glimmer of a smile a while ago on that shot of Bill Fitch on the sideline. This is all even. Again, determining who will play what team in that mini-series. The winner will go against New York, the loser against the loser of this game. Rick Roby now checking in for the Celtics. Parish the lead with 20 points. He gets a standing ovation. Manny Archibald at the line, 56 seconds to go in the third. 76-55.
55 is not a lot of points.
No, it is not.
At the end of 3 quarters.
Archibald with a penalty will have another coming. Boy, this Boston team losing by 32 last week. I still think that Parish thing staying in early because they tried to make a comeback last week after Parish was on the bench with the foul difficulty. There's the time you saw remaining in the third quarter. The doctor. Roby. Bobby Jones, and Boston comes away with it. A lot of that where Boston's reached in and batted the ball away on the rebound.
Rick Roby just out-muscled him and knocked him out of the way. No foul, so he just went after it.
Archibald to Larry Bird. Bird seems to be open all the time. Dawkins is pushed underneath. Rick Roby picking up the foul.
That's 10 points in a row that the Celtics have been able to score so far against the Sixers to really widen the gap here. And again, the Sixers have had a long drought here, Gary. It's been, again, almost 5 minutes, and they haven't scored a basket. They've had 2 incredibly long periods of frustration and inability to be able to do anything offensively.
I think Bill's point is very well taken. Only 55 points. And I think Billy Cunningham wonders there's a lid on that basket.
Well, they just got points, so they know it works. He made a free throw.
There's Darrell's average. And Darrell for the day now has only 4 points, so he is way below what he's done in the previous 5 games. Kevin McHale, very good movement of the ball.
They got the people turned on here. McHale with a nice fake. Lost Dawkins on it, dunked it home, and the crowd to their feet again.
Boy, these fans are going to have to pace themselves. They've still got another 12 minutes what to get excited about, and they are really excited here in the Boston Garden. Andrew Toney, and that will count as a buzzer sound to end this third quarter.
Now watch McHale on this last play. He makes a real good move. He loses Julius and he loses Dawkins. Dunks it home for 2, and the Celtics are taking complete control of this game. They're up by 20. Sixers have only 12 minutes to catch up.
But was furnished by the National Basketball Association. Bill, let's look at this last play.
Now, here's a play where you're talking about blocking shots. Now, here Dale Dawkins sees the guy. Now, what he had to do, should have done, was hesitated and make the offensive man commit. See, now there, no chance. You see, in defense, you've got to sometimes make the offensive guy commit.
Now, Master Bill Russell talking about that as we come to the live action beginning the fourth quarter. Bird has a block. Lionel Hollins. Toney and Hollins kicks the ball. They cannot handle it. Bobby Jones. Lionel Hollins, and you look at frustration. Here's Darrell Dawkins. He wipes Bird out, and it goes. Talk about having to work hard for 2.
They got that basket in front of themselves.
Oh, Dawkins, I don't think there's any oxygen up there, is there?
I wouldn't know. I've never been up that high.
Boy, though, they almost blew that, showing you the frustration. There's the third quarter statistics. Very close in the field goal department. Chris Ford, who's been having his problems Adams is hot today with 13 points. Be sure now, stay tuned for the MVP at the conclusion of the game. That is going to go against Toney, and that's his 4th personal foul.
Toney makes the drive. You can't see it from that particular angle, but he dipped his left shoulder right into Chris Ford to pick up the offensive foul.
81-61, 20-point lead for this Boston team. That was their lead at the end of the 3rd quarter. Archibald to Rick Roby. Boy, you can hardly hear in this place. Ford to Roby, walk to the ball. We'll give it back to Philadelphia.
Again, the fast break situations. Sixers only had 2 break opportunities in that whole quarter. They got 2 points. They only have 9 points for the game. Boston 21 opportunities for 24 points.
You would think this is a 2-point game. The intensity in it. That basket going to count? It will. A continuation by the doctor. A chance for a 3-point play.
You think Bill Fitch didn't like that call? There's the doctor going up. Right there, the ball's knocked away. He reaches back for it, hustles, gets it. There's the foul on the reach, and he still got it. He's in the air, throws it up. That's a good call because the doctor never came down on the floor. He was still in the process of completing the initial play that he had started.
McHale picking up his first foul, and the doctor makes it 81-64. Philadelphia has never given up in this game. Their intensity has been tremendous, but there's just been a struggle against this fine Boston team. Boy, you would think we had a 2-point game. Listen to this crowd. Roby out to Archibald. 9 seconds on the shot clock. And that'll be charging on Archibald. Now Philadelphia trying to make a move with 10-11. Bill Fitch starting to get a little bit concerned. Billy Cunningham, now he may see a glimmer of hope as Billy C. trying somehow to coach this basketball team back. 1 minute is left in this game. Chicago leading Indiana as we come to the last game of this regular season. What a playoff we should have. Beginning Wednesday night in Los Angeles, then Friday, then Sunday. We'll keep you posted on where we'll be, but it's going to be outstanding basketball. Here's Toney. Toney getting open.
One of the few times that the Celtics did not have good weak side help. They had a breakdown defensively there. Bill Fitch calling a timeout, wants to get the strips together, and he doesn't want to see any of that happening.
And so Fitch asks for a break in the action with 10 minutes exactly left to be played in this game. Rodgers still with a 1-stroke lead in the final round of the Heritage. Gary Pate was 3 back at the start of the day of Rodgers. Rodgers losing a couple of strokes to that lead. As we have 10 minutes left here, Philadelphia in this 4th quarter has outscored Boston 7-2. Huntington 81-66. Roby with Dawkins on him. Larry Bird, Bobby Jones reaching in. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Roby, 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
That's why it always helps to be able to use your left hand. If he wasn't a left-handed shooter, he had no prayer on that.
22 points now for Larry Bird. Toney up to the doctor, Julius Erving. Lionel Hollins. Hollins with a high archer. And Lionel Hollins has been shut down today. That's only 4 points for him. 83-68. There's the foul difficulty. Dawkins had those 4 fouls early. Kevin McHale, the doctor on him. Out to Toney. There's the double team. Philadelphia. Long uphill struggle, and Chris Ford hits again. 16 points for him. Billy Cunningham. Look at the frustration in his face. 86-68. Toney off to Lionel Hollins. Back to Toney. Toney backing outside the 3-pointer. They're trying to get him open to Dawkins. Darrell inside and a foul. Darrell Dawkins getting Kevin McHale up as he was run over.
Real strain.
Look at this. 50 seconds left in that game. Chicago, Indiana, all even. And again, deciding second place in the division and who goes against what team.
I'll tell you one thing, if this game continues the way it is, I'm sure that the Sixers hope that Indiana loses that basketball game or wins that basketball game, because otherwise they got to go up against Chicago and then Milwaukee, and that'll be even tougher assignment because of the physical aspect of those 2 teams, with Chicago being more physical.
There's been a lot said, man, that whoever won the Atlantic Division might win the East because they would avoid just what you're talking about.
stripes. On that last three-point shot of Chris Ford's, Gary, I had talked to Bill Fitch before the game because their team hasn't been using the three-pointer as much this year. He said, well, that's only because we haven't hit it as well this year, and he does not give his players instructions to go out and definitely look for the shot. Just take it in the flow of the game, and he lets the players kind of decide it. So this year, the Celtic shooters have not been as proficient, so they've backed off on it somewhat.
Now, Ford has been slumping a lot. He has not been shooting well overall, but he's hit those two today, and it's 86-71. Here he is with the ball. 8.5 minutes to go. Roby up to Archibald. Philadelphia needs a basketball, and that will go off a Bird. Philadelphia with a chance. They still are in it, and Cunningham knows it. 8 fouls in this quarter. Boston has committed 3. Philadelphia hasn't committed one yet. Toney, boy, I like the way this young rookie played. 86-73. Still 8:09. Bill, you always seem to break it down as to how many points you got to be down with a certain length of time. What do you think now?
They're not in real bad shape if they can keep the tempo in their favor. Philadelphia, they can come back. They got plenty of time, much more than they need. But they're going to have to control the tempo now. What Fitch is going to have to do is call a timeout and regroup to try to get back into their running game and get their defense back. Because right now they're in kind of disarray. And what has happened is, because of fatigue and substitutions, they have lost that edge. And see, the edge is that you have control of the tempo. Now, with Philadelphia, both teams are playing tough defense, although the scores don't indicate exactly how tough they're playing. But what they have to do now, what Boston's going to have to do, is go back inside, play the defense, and get a good shot every time down. But they don't have a big enough lead to sit on it. So they're going to have to go back to running a little bit for about 2 minutes.
That's a 20-second timeout that was called for by Boston. You see the time remaining, 8:09.
Stay with Roby this time.
86-73. The biggest lead of this game was 22 by the Boston Celtics, and Philadelphia cutting that down. M.L. Carr is now checked in for Boston. Bobby Jones kicks it out of bounds.
And Bobby Jones saved an easy basket that time by hustling in and knocking it out of bounds. McHale wide open, and Robert Parish comes in for Rick Roby.
Here comes Robert Parish. He's one of the guys I've got to consider for the most valuable player.
I think for Boston, you got 3 guys that have had outstanding games. Toney, Archibald, Larry Bird, and Robert Parish. They've had outstanding games.
Parish out to Archibald. 7 seconds on the shot clock. With 5, Archibald. Bobby Jones, but look at McHale. McHale pushes the board when he's fouled.
You just can't afford to not box out a good rebounding big man. Now watch McHale. He comes in there. Nobody boxes him out. He's got perfect inside position. He gets the rebound. He goes up. Foul by Julius.
Rick, the reason they're not boxing out so well, it's difficult to box out when you're playing a zone defense.
Well, that's what they're doing. They're sloughing in there so much, and the guy is forgetting to try and watch that man who's coming in from the weak side. You have to still make an effort to go and get him, and they're not doing it.
They call that foul on Dawkins, and Darrell Dawkins has 5. And so he will come out, and Caldwell Jones replaces him. It could have got on both of them.
Julius caught him across the arms, but I guess Darrell got him first.
There's Darrell on the bench with 5 fouls, and Dawkins with 7 points. Way below what they expected out of him today. 86-73. Still 7 minutes and 43 seconds to go here in the Boston Garden. Toney setting things up for Bobby Jones. And again, Philadelphia's shooting game has deserted him.
There's only one guy hitting with any consistency, and that's Andrew Toney. And it's difficult for one man to carry offense.
Toney was the man trying to set it up that time. Here's Archibald. Caldwell Jones, and we have a foul. Kevin McHale committing a personal foul.
And the people reacted to the shot that Tiny Archibald took. Maybe you see him going down, but now let's watch and see if we pick up the foul in here. Here comes the rebound off. There's McHale, reaches in right there and grabs the arm. That's where the foul came. But what Tiny did is he jumped right into the defensive man, and he really could have been called for an offensive foul at that time.
That's 4 fouls on McHale. Cedric Maxwell now will come in. McHale will check out. Billy Cunningham. Boy, he's really got to be thinking this is one of the longest afternoons of the year for him, and he still hasn't given up in this game.
Well, neither has his team. They've cut that 22-point lead down to 13. Chance to cut it down to 11 with plenty of time to go.
The just made by Bob Center producers that you either get 10 days off or you get 2 days off, depending on the outcome of this game today. And also, of course, still waiting to see who they would play. That being determined in that Chicago-Indiana game, as well as the outcome of this one.
And those free throws hurt right there.
86-73. To Maxwell. M.L. Carr. Parish. And they are really hitting the boards, and Parish has picked up the foul.
And that puts them in a foul trouble. They got in the penalty situation now.
Here you see the shot again. Nice pass by ML. Robert misses the shot. And here in his effort to try and get it back, he jumps over the back of Bobby Jones.
On Parish, that's his second, the penalty in. Bobby Jones at the line. 7:03 still left to go in this battle for the Atlantic Division title.
Also, the Sixers, Bill, because they only have one team foul, can afford to be real aggressive on the defensive end of the court. They have 7 minutes to go, one team foul. They've got Boston in the penalty. Now's the time to establish a good, strong inside game, because if the foul comes, you go to the free throw line.
Bobby Jones, they missed another big free throw.
They could have had it underneath 10 points if they had made them. They had a chance to make 4. They only got 1.
Instead, it's a 12-point lead for the Boston Celtics. M.L. Carr, beautiful.
Great individual effort right there.
M.L.
That
Carr.
relieves a little pressure temporarily.
88-74. 6:43 to go. The doctor passes off to Holland. Hollins has not shot well today. Caldwell Jones with a rebound blocked by M.L. Carr. Carr was the man that got a hand on it. Larry Bird off to Maxwell. Toney going for the steal. Carr, that'll be charging on M.L. Carr.
Here's the defense down the other end. Julius can't get the shot off. He throws it out. Hollins misses the shot. Kept alive by Caldwell Jones, and there's M.L. Carr to come over to block the shot. Bird gets the rebound.
So Philadelphia. Parish cheeks. Andrew Toney. Dawkins. Dawkins back in with those 5 fouls. Irving and Bobby Jones. And another foul on M.L. Carr, and he's upset. Earl Stroud separating Carr and Andrew Toney. Carr picking up 2 in a hurry. You can see the emotion in this game. They played 81 games. The 82nd played just like it was the first one.
There's the play again. Now watch Toney make his move. ML steps out. Now look to me like ML stepped. He did step right in and pick up the foul. Toney, with a little bit of the frustration of the situation of the game, I think got a little bit upset, and so they had a few words amongst them, but you saw them shake hands. Everything's okay.
At the line will be Toney. The time, 6:17. Look at the game this young man has had.
The reason Toney got upset, that is one of the plays that you can get hurt, not seriously, but you can get such a bruise that you can miss 2 or 3 games or not be able to play right for at least a week, even at his age.
28 points for Toney. Now back to a 12-point lead again, 88-76. The Celtics haven't put this one away yet. Field attempt by the doctor. It's off of Boston? No. It's off for the doctor. Billy Cunningham doesn't believe it. He thinks that they should have the basketball.
Here's the play again, and let's see who hits this ball. Julius comes out for the steal. There he touches it. Boy, it sure looked like it went off the corner at that time.
Ed Rush now discussing it with Tech McMahon, Chuck Daly, and Billy Cunningham. I say discussing it rather vehemently. We have a timeout. 6:05 to go. And emotion is really running high as the Celtics still lead by 12. Let's go back and reconstruct this controversial play.
Well, here comes Julius, and he's going forward. He touches the ball, and right there, the right hand of Cedric Maxwell went backwards towards the sideline and the baseline, and that's the way the ball went. There's no question in my mind, Bill, that Cedric hit that ball out of bounds.
Now we have a final score. Chicago has defeated Indiana 101-97. They will play New York, and Indiana will be playing the loser of this ball game. Larry Bird. Before that basket, Philadelphia had outscored Boston 17-9 in this fourth quarter. Now it's back to 90, 5:48 left in the game. Jinks off to Toney. Toney with 26 points. Broken up by Maxwell. Cunningham thought he had a foul. Maxwell has the 2 points instead, and Billy Cunningham asks for a timeout. Cunningham asking for the timeout.
There goes Toney with a little fake. Right there, he gets bumped into. There really was no foul. He tried to dribble the ball. He was off balance when he did it. He was probably expecting to hear the whistle. Maxwell takes it all the way in, lays it up in the basket. The Celtics take control again. Now they're up by 16 with 5:35 to go in the fourth.
Yeah, starts with 60 minutes. Then will Alice trade in her waitress uniform for a singing career on the road and on the Jefferson. Florence gets a job offer she can't refuse. But can she live up to it? It's all tonight on CBS. It's 92-76. Interesting stat. Boston this year, when they've held opponents less than 100 points, they've won 23 games and haven't lost any.
They're in pretty good shape now, except Philadelphia has time to make one more run at it.
One more run with 5:13 left in this game. Dawkins way outside now on Parish. Larry Bird, Boston will milk the clock down. Bird a long ways out, a three-pointer. Cheeks with a rebound. Bill Russell said one more chance. Here's their one of those opportunities. Julia serving. 92-80, 12-point game once again. The Doctor with 17 points. This Philadelphia team has not given up. And neither is this man, Billy Cunningham. Bird, baseline, Carr. Parish is there. I got to vote for this guy as my MVP. If it continues this way, Robert Parish now with 22 points. Toney up to the Doctor, the roll. What a roll that was. Did you see the spin he put on that ball?
Yes, and they called goaltending, so even if it didn't spin and go in the basket, he would have gotten the basket as they hit the backboard. Two for Julius. That's 3 straight baskets inside for Julius. He's trying to get him back single-handedly.
Doctor going for the steal. The Carr again. Carr inside. Parish over Dawkins, and Parish comes away with it. That's kind of indicative of what Parish has done all afternoon long. He has wrestled that ball away from Dawkins. What a game he's having. Rebound, Carr. Jones was in too far. He had boxed up, but he couldn't get the rebound. Inside, 4 minutes left in the game. 94-82, a 12-point lead for Boston. Henderson in the ball game with Cheeks on him. Baseline, Carr again. He keeps getting there, doesn't he? He's going to try to save it and does somehow. What an effort by number 30. Parish back out to Larry Bird. They will again take all the time they can with 12 seconds left on the shot clock. Bird looking in, and now Earlstrom has called a foul on Cornbread Maxwell.
He used the elbow to push off.
3:28. They could cut it to 10. This trip down the floor. Again, Chicago defeating Indiana. They'll play New York in the mini-series. Andrew Toney, and somebody reaching in. That somebody was Darryl Dawkins. And Dawkins has fouled out of the ball game.
Well, I'll tell you, now Earl Strong just called a foul on Dawkins. Ed Rush had given the signal to stay here, and he had a foul underneath the basket. I think he was going to call it on Bird, but he let Strong take control of it. Now watch Rush if he makes a signal. If you can see him right there as Bird jumps into him. You see if Ed Rush makes a signal. Now watch Ed Rush. Now watch what he does if we can keep running the tape if we still have it. Watch him stay. Now watch his move right here. You see that? Right here. You're staying right here, but Earl Strom took the call away from the outside.
Dawkins fouls out with only 7 points, as opposed to Parish's 22. And that's been the big stories in that middle. Henderson trying to get away from Cheeks. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Parish doing it all. He is the man of the hour here in Boston.
Larry Bird hasn't been too shabby either in this basketball game, but Robert Parish has been the big difference. I really go along with that.
There's your time, 2:56. Look at him from Centenary. They picked him up from Golden State, and they're on their way to their Atlantic Division title, but Toney hasn't given up yet. 96-84. Maxwell, he lost it. It'll be the Sixers basketball. Billy Cunningham. Toney in this ball game with 30 points. What a performance he's gotten from the rookie. We're going to have a 20-second timeout now by the Sixers. It's Philadelphia still trying to stay alive in this fight for the Atlantic Division title. There's your score, 96-84. And Bill, with 2:44, is there still time?
There is time, but they'll have to have a breakdown by the Celtics. They'll have to get some breaks in order to catch up. They got almost 3 minutes. They got plenty of time. If they go down and score now and get it down to 10 points, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes is a long time. They should get it. If they get it within 14 seconds, so you got 2.5 minutes left, and play the good defense and get any kind of breaks, they can get into the game.
Boy, that 12 points seems to be the magic number. They haven't been able to get inside that.
And they can't let Boston get 2 and 3 shots anymore.
Cheeks up to the doctor, has had 13 points in the second half. Cheeks battling for it. What a job by Cheeks. Good second effort by Maurice Cheeks. Now it's a 10-point game. 2.5 minutes to go. 96-86. Again, remember, the Celtics haven't lost a game this year when they've held the opponent less than 100 points. Henderson, rebound, the doctor, they can cut it to 8. Irving, off to Cheeks. The doctor again. Beautiful pass to Well, Bird has committed a foul. Larry Bird with his 3rd personal foul.
Outstanding pass this time on the part of Julius Irving as he makes his drive, and right there he spots the open man, Caldwell Jones. He tries to gather himself. Bird goes over. Well, I'll tell you, it looked like he had his hand all over the basketball there, but Ed Rush was a little closer to the place that he got a little bit of the arm.
3 to make 2 for Caldwell Jones as a penalty in. There's Cunningham. It's now a 9-point game as Tiny Archibald comes in. A 9-point game. A chance to cut it to 8. Caldwell Jones will have 2 shots left to make that remaining free throw. I got to admire this Philadelphia team. It's been a battle, but they've stayed there. And now within 8. Tiny Archibald. 2 minutes left in the game. Maxwell with Irving on him. Cedric. Rebound. Bobby Jones off to Toney. A chance to go within 6. The doctor. Julius Irving. Beautiful pass. Rejected by Cedric Maxwell. Maxwell with a big block in this game. Tiny Archibald. 134. That may have been the counter.
That might have done it. That shot might have done it, because if he made that, that would have been a different ball game.
Larry Bird to ML Carr. Blocked it momentarily. Bird outside to Archibald. And we're going to have
24-second violation.
Yes, sir. They did not get it underway because of the shot clock. That ball did not hit the iron. 96-88, and they're still alive.
Here's the block coming up. Julius goes up, and again, a super pass to the open man, Bobby Jones. He goes straight up. Right there, Maxwell with the big block of the game so far as the Celtics are concerned.
We'll be back. It's not over yet. There's the bench scoring. The starters. What a difference as far as the starters are concerned. And this crowd sensing that it isn't over yet with 1:19 left. 96-88. Philadelphia taking their last run at the Boston Celtics.
They've got to score a basket in as quick as possible, and then really play the press full court and hope that they can get a break.
Toney, three-pointer. He is fouled by ML Carr. Toney, who has 30 points. He was so close to getting a three-pointer.
Well, you don't want to shoot a guy taking a shot that tough, especially a three-pointer. That ball goes in the basket, and anything could have happened in this basketball game.
Remember now, he has 3 to make 2.
If he had made that three-pointer and got the foul, a 4-point play is not bad at a time like this.
ML Carr committing a personal foul. On Carr in this ball game, a total of 4. 96-89. He can cut it to 6 with this one. 6-point game with 1:11. The pressure by Philadelphia. Parish to hold up. by the way, has a foul yet that they can waste in this game. Remember that before they go into the penalty. 42 seconds left. 96-90. Jinks. He needs some help. Out to Bobby Jones. The doctor. Jones again. Jones reaching in. He is fouled.
Look at Bill Fitch. Bill Fitch went down on his knees. He can't believe what that call was.
Fitch. Look at the bleeding by Bill Fitch. Bobby Jones will go to the line. You can see the tension on his face. 37 seconds left. He has 3 to make 2.
What a valiant effort on the part of this Philadelphia team to hang tough and flat back to this position. And what a free throw to miss in this situation.
He's got to get these 2 now. He can cut it to 4. He just has to have both of these. That's one of a Billy Cunningham. As he won a timeout, he's yelling over there.
He's yelling grid, which is probably to press. Put the pressure on him.
All right. 1 free throw remaining now for Jones. This will cut it to 4 if he gets it. He did not. Larry Bird with a rebound. Boy, they've missed some important free throws in this game. Philadelphia had. Archibald out to Maxwell. Parish. ML Carr. You see the time remaining. Steal by Toney. No, he committed the foul. Andrew Toney committing a foul with 24 seconds.
What happens here is that foul they had to use. It's not a free throw situation, but the Celtics, of course, do not have to shoot the basketball to win this game.
Now, the next one would put them in the penalty. ML Carr.
And Boston can run out the clock. They don't have to shoot anymore.
21 seconds, a foul by Maurice Cheeks. So now they will go to the free throw line. A penalty in effect with 20 seconds left. Boy, what a battle this has been. Remember, Philadelphia trailed by as many as 22 points at one time. The crowd up. You don't think they're not enthusiastic.
And they did it. They've gotten back. Those 2 periods, Bill, where they went almost 5 minutes without scoring a point, has turned out to be their downfall. Despite the fact that other parts of the game, they were a little inconsistent. They had 2 just periods of total breakdowns offensively and defensively.
Bill Fitch feeling, I think, just a little bit more comfortable right now. 97-91.
Now he's able to take a deep breath.
There wasn't enough oxygen here for a while. 20 seconds. Everyone on their feet here at the Boston Garden, including the bench. Toney, three-pointer. Oh, is he something? Toney with 33 points. 98-94. 4-point game with 12 seconds. Bird. Toney going after it. Parish has it. You see the time left. It's coming down to the very bitter end. The Boston Celtics have won the Atlantic Division. The Celtics have won the Atlantic Division for the 2nd time in a row. They will get a bye. Now, the Philadelphia 76ers will be playing the Indiana Pacers. The first game is Tuesday. They will be playing in the Spectrum against the Pacers. Then Thursday, they'll play in Indiana, and then if a 3rd game is necessary, Sunday back at the Spectrum. On the other hand, the Chicago-New York series will find the first game Tuesday against the Knicks in Madison Square Garden, Friday in Chicago, and then back to the Garden on Sunday if, in fact, they need that 3rd game of the miniseries. Our producer is Robert Stenner. Our director, Sandy Grossman. Our associate producers, Rick Sharp and Joan Vetrano. And what a job they have done. Debbie Ott, our production coordinator. Our MVP, the Miller High Life Most Valuable Player Award, will go to who? Robert Parish. Parish, unanimous vote. He had 24 points, holding Dawkins to 7 points. What a game we have had here. The Boston Celtics have won the Atlantic Division. For Rick Barry and Bill Russell, this is Gary Bender. The NBA on CBS is a presentation of CBS Sports.